Hi, good morning. You would have already seen my profile in the introduction to this video, and you would have seen that my profile includes delivering consultancy, advice, training to various Fortune 500 companies, big corporates, government organizations, and other similar associations. Apart from this profile, you would have also seen that I am associated with LIC, Life Insurance Corporation of India, which is one of the biggest reputed names in the world of insurance sector. My association with LIC goes way back in 2009-2010 when Miss Philomena Thomas, the ex-executive director of training of LIC, had given me an opportunity in ZTC Gurgaon to address the senior divisional managers of LIC on financial markets. And that's how my journey started with LIC, and I started realizing that the people who are associated with LIC, whether it is agents, whether it is MDRTs, whether it is development officers, they're all so pure at heart, and they believe in developing relationships, and they believe in contributing the insurance part to the world of this Indian market, which is quite necessary as well. And from LIC ZTC, I was taken by Mr. Subrata Saha and was launched by him in Kolkata, wherein I met one of my other brother-like friends, Dr. R.K. Shetty. Dr. R.K. Shetty and Subrata Saha, they rather convinced me that you should ideally start delivering training sessions on financial markets and financial instruments to LIC people so that they can blend this knowledge along with their product and to be pitched to various customers in Indian market so that they can do justice to this Indian economy. So ideally you would have already seen through my profile and my association with LIC, and I believe that LIC family has been contributing to the society in a lot beautiful manner. I also realized that majority of these LIC people, whether it is agents or MDRTs or development officers, they massively undergo training on motivational aspects. But I believe that motivation is necessary, but only to an extent. Motivation, getting motivated in a big hall, clapping on that motivator and ultimately going out of this hall, so ultimately contributing nothing to this financial world, leads to nothing. Because motivation can give you a pump, but that pump will lead you to go and meet the client. But then that client would not be interested in your pump of motivation. He is more interested what is there to offer by you. So that means there comes the technical content. So no matter whatever motivation you have, but you need some weapons to fight in this financial world, and those weapons are nothing but technically sound knowledge and technically sound content to offer to the client. In fact, I have seen in existing scenario, all the LIC agents or MDRTs or development officers, they undergo motivational training so that they can face their customers, their clients. And because of the growing tensions coming up in financial markets, because of the growing volatility in the financial markets, clients are also becoming more knowledgeable. That means client's consultant, client himself, client relationship manager, they are all trying to become more educated because there is something and everything which is happening in the financial world, and they tend to ask you many questions, and they are majorly concentrated not on relationship only, they are also concentrated on how much of return do you make for him. So when as an agent, when my agent after 10 or multiple calls, he gets a meeting from that client, and one fine day when he meets that client, at the very first meeting, he offers his product of insurance, and the client says, sorry boss, I'm interested in your term insurance, but I'm not interested in whatever product you are offering me, because I'm gonna invest my money into mutual funds or equity or property or FD. And this agent, no matter how much motivational training he would have undergone, that motivation goes for a toss because he has lost that meeting and he cannot technically challenge that client, and he packs up his bag and he comes back. And then he undergoes a next motivational training to go for another meeting. It would have been better that this agent, rather than going through or undergoing through a motivational training, he would have been made more technically sound. So technically sound means if he would have knowledge about the financial markets or products, he would have actually cross-questioned or argued with the customer and he would have convinced that customer in a more better fashion rather than losing that meeting which he had gained after 10 phone calls chasing that client. My vision is ideally my agent or my MDRT agent or development officer. At the very first meeting when they meet up the client, normally at the very first meeting when you meet up the client, you shake the hands with a distance, because you cannot enter into the territory of the client, and neither the client would entertain you to enter into his territory. So when you are meeting for the first time with that client and you sit across the table, why to pitch the product of insurance rather than you should have knowledge about the financial markets, and you should create his interest by telling him what is happening in Japan, what is happening in China, what is happening in US, because everyone in this world is interested what is happening in China, US, UK, Japan, Europe, because everyone wants to have more knowledge. Everyone is hungry for knowledge. So if you tell about what is happening in China, what happens with Shanghai Composite Index, what is happening with Hang Seng, what is happening with Kospi, what is happening with Nikkei, what is happening with Nasdaq. So ideally, what is happening with LIBOR, what is happening with Fed rate, where is the interest rates of the international economy going, what is the GDP of the international economy going. So ultimately that client will listen to you. So client will always ask you, sir, what do you do? So you tell, boss, I am a financial planner, I study financial markets, I study financial instruments, and I tend to educate my customer. So this was the first meeting wherein you have won the heart of that client, and the client definitely would tell you, please come and meet me again, sir. So in the next meeting when you meet up the client, so ideally you shake your hands not like this, because now there is some intimacy level, and you shake your hands like this, and when you meet up the client, you tell him what is happening in Indian economy now. So tell him about what is happening in repo rate, the reverse repo rate, the CRR, the SLR, what is Mr. Raghuram Rajanji doing, what is Shri Modi Saab doing in Make in India, what is happening in terms of bond index, what is happening in the liquidity of share market, what is happening with Sensex or a Nifty, etc. And the client will listen to you, because everyone in this world is so passionate about what is happening in Indian economy, particularly in Indian financial markets. So he'll again ask you, what do you do? You say, sir, I normally study financial markets, financial instruments, and then I do financial planning for the customer. So this was the second meeting, and after this meeting, but of course the client will again tell you back, sir, please do come again, because I tend to learn a lot from you. Now the third meeting. But of course, now the third meeting would not be like this. It will be a side hug with the client, because now he has grown more intimate with you. So he might take you for a coffee or for a drink or for a dinner or for a breakfast, or probably you might also be inviting him, sir, let's have a coffee together outside, or let's have a dinner together outside. And that's how your relationship has now gone to the next level. So now this client, because of your knowledge which you have shared with that client, is so impressed with you. So he'll tell you, sir, please guide me. Where should I invest my money? I have been investing my money in this much amount of money in mutual funds, this much amount of money in share market, this much amount of money in property, etc. So once he starts sharing with you, then you ask him, sir, which mutual fund are you buying in? So he'll say, okay, sir, I am buying in, let us say, a mutual fund which is giving a return of, let us say, 40%. So you ask him, sir, 40%, we'll come onto that, whether it is 40% or whether it is 4%. But please tell me, are you investing in large cap, mid cap, small cap? So he'll say, wow, so you have got knowledge about mutual funds as well? You'll say, sir, I have knowledge about any damn product where you invest. I have knowledge about property, I have knowledge about FD, I have knowledge about mutual funds, I have knowledge about Nifty, Sensex, equity, derivatives, etc. So then that client will say, okay, I invest in large cap fund. So then you have to ask him, sir, is it Reliance Growth? Is it, let us say, SBI Magnum? Is it, let us say, ICICI Discovery Fund? Or whether it is HDFC Top 200? Or whether it is a Tata Equity Fund? So then the client will again be taken back. He'll say, wow, you have good knowledge. So then he'll gonna say you, okay, I have been investing in Tata Equity Fund. So then you can say, okay, so Tata Equity Fund has got a Sharpe ratio is this much, Trainer ratio of this much, beta of this much, alpha of this much. That client will get stunned. So now the client, what he's gonna do is, he'll ask his consultant or a chartered accountant or his relationship manager to come and sit in front of you to understand what do you have to offer. And believe me, whether he's a CA or whether a consultant or whether a relationship manager, he would not have been knowledgeable enough on financial markets, because chartered accountants are not normally taught on financial markets, and the relationship managers from the broking side or from the mutual fund companies who have been managing his account, they would have been educated theoretically on whatever aspect they have been delivering. So that means you have got an edge. I'm not saying everyone would be theoretically educated, but most of them would be theoretically educated and only few would be practitioners. But let me assure you, with knowledge, if you gain, you can any day beat his consultant, his chartered accountant, his financial markets relationship manager as well in front of the client. So one fine day when his consultant or a chartered accountant or relationship manager comes across and sits in the same meeting, and then you ask him, sir, why do you make him invest only in this mutual fund? Why don't you ask him to invest in this much mutual fund as well? Because it has got a better Sharpe ratio or a trainer ratio or a risk adjusted return or a alpha or a beta. So now the client will have more faith in you, because he'll see with his own eyes that his chartered accountant, his consultant, his relationship manager is not sound in that knowledge. So this vision, after this vision, the client will ask you, sir, why don't you become my advisor? And then once you become his advisor, then you can tell him, sir, in your portfolio, your risk is this much, your return is this much. Why don't you reduce your risk? So ultimately, in order to reduce the risk of the customer from his portfolio, you can inject your product of insurance, which is ideally risk-free, and that's how his beautiful portfolio has to be made, which means only based on knowledge and technical knowledge, you can add your product in the beautiful portfolio of the client. Although your product is very good, quite attractive, but you cannot sell your product easily unless and until you have technically sound knowledge. And that's how I thought that I should train LIC people, and that's how R.K. Shetty sir and Subrata sir, they invited me time and again to deliver sessions to LIC people, LIC agents, MDRTs, to train technically on financial markets, financial instruments, and that's how my journey started with LIC in delivering technical sessions and how to link such technical sessions in pitching your product into the portfolio of the client, wherein rather than based on only motivation, the motivation gets added with your technical sound knowledge. So one fine day, I thought that since I am delivering technically sound knowledge, why shouldn't I make up a program which becomes a technically sound knowledge delivery plus a degree program or a diploma program? So I thought of giving it up a shape of, let us say, MBA in insurance and financial planning and diploma in insurance and financial planning, for which I got in touch with one of the best universities named Chitkara University. It is one of the best universities in India and the best university in North India, and the promoters of this university have been educationists themselves. They have not been businessmen. They have taught, they have educated a lot many students in this vicinity, and then they floated this university. So Dr. Ashok Chitkara ji and Dr. Madhu Chitkara ji, they are the founders of this university, and they have been educationists throughout their life. This university has been doing wonders in the field of education and has created its own name, a reputed name in this vicinity and whole of Indian economy as well. The university's corporate office is based in Chandigarh, and they have got university in Himachal campus in Baddi and in Punjab campus in Rajpura. So I collaborated with them, and we thought of designing MBA in insurance and financial planning and diploma in insurance financial planning. So let me give you a brief about MBA and diploma of insurance and financial planning. MBA in insurance and financial planning is a 2-year program, as an MBA is, and normally a person who is a graduate, he can enroll for MBA in insurance and financial planning. Diploma in insurance and financial planning, it's a 1-year program. So a person, if he is not a graduate, he has to enroll for diploma in insurance financial planning. He cannot get enrolled for MBA in financial planning. So MBA and diploma ideally will have the same course contents. So I have designed the course contents by taking the best of the best picks from CFP, Certificate of Financial Planning, from CA course, yani Chartered Accountancy, and from the best of the best practical markets stuff as well, including the various course contents. So some of the name of the course contents are everything about insurance industry, but of course is already been included. Plus we have financial markets, which includes US market, Japanese market, Chinese market, Europe market, plus Indian market, Indian financial markets. Then we have financial instruments to have more knowledge, insights on bonds, on equity, on Sensex, on Nifty, on on different instruments where the client normally invests. Then we have a detailed subject on only mutual funds, how to study everything and anything on mutual fund. Then we have a detailed subject on Excel, application of all this knowledge on Excel through advanced Excel and Excel knowledge as well, how to calculate the return, the risk, etc. on Excel. Then we have subjects like financial planning, advanced financial planning, portfolio management, tax planning, estate planning, and so ideally there are total around 18 subjects. So the course contents have been beautifully blended. Now the classes are planned in such a manner that in MBA or in diploma, the classes will be held once in every quarter. So in MBA, in the first year of MBA program, you will have classes. In the second year of MBA program, you will not have classes. So I'll tell you what do you have in MBA second year of the program. So in the first year of MBA of Insurance and Financial Planning, every quarter you have 4 to 5 days of residential classes. So residential classes in the same way as we have classes in IIMs, MDI. So you'll get the whole of the feel of becoming a student once again in the campus, in the beautiful vicinity of Baddi campus in Himachal of Chitkara University, and ultimately you'll stay there. The lodging and the fooding will be taken care of within the fees which will be offering to the students. So ideally 4 to 5 days of classes in every quarter, which will run through 4 quarters. So ideally every quarter will have 4 to 5 days of classes, which means 18 subjects over a period of 18 days over a period of 1 year. And in between this 18, in between each of the quarter, you'll be also given assignments which you have to apply and work on. So ideally there will be a dedicated faculty who will be assigned to you, and you'll have to apply those practical learnings to your clients as well. So similarly it happens in diploma as well. However, the extra thing in MBA is in the next year you'll be given a dedicated project based on your intellect knowledge which you have gained in the theoretical classrooms and the assignments which you would have already prepared in the first year of MBA. So that you will have to use and apply in developing practical models for your clients. Like we'll be giving you a practical model of designing a portfolio of one of your clients, practically designing a model of a mutual fund with blended with insurance. So that means you will have hands-on knowledge. Once you will have hands-on knowledge, only then the real motivation within you would come. So ultimately the fee structure is for the first initial batch, the fee structure is 1,60,000 for MBA and 80,000 for diploma. The fees will not be charged in full at the very first go, rather it will be divided over a 4-quarter period. So every quarter you will have to pay 40,000. So that means in the first year over 4 quarters, your 1,60,000 has to be paid. Similarly in diploma, every quarter you will be paying 20,000. So over a period of 4 quarters, you'll have to pay 80,000 rupees. So it's ideally an introductory fees, you can say, because 1,60,000 of an MBA and 80,000 of a diploma, it will not continue for long. So now the modus operandi, as I've already told, that MBA 2-year program, you'll have classroom sessions, 4 to 5 days of classroom session every quarter. In between the quarter, you'll have assignments. In the next year of MBA, you'll have ideally semi-annual meets. So once in a semi-annual, you will have to come to the university again to tell us about what you have done in your project. And but of course, then we'll have assignment of giving you marks, awarding you marks based on whatever best you have done with your practical learnings, and then you will be awarded degrees. But in diploma, it's a 1-year program. So within that 1 year, you'll have to build up all those assignments and projects by inculcating and imbibing all those theoretical knowledge in the classroom on your clients, etc. But of course, this MBA program and diploma is one of the best opportunities you can grab in, because this gives you real motivation in the sense that you get a degree or a diploma, and plus you get an intellect. So once you have an intellect and you face the customer, you will have real motivation. See, I believe that one should invest a portion of the income which you earn in training yourself. Like I do, I still spend a lot of money which I earn, so a part of that money is idly spent on my own training. So similarly, you should also spend a part of your money into training yourself. So training with educational degrees is one of the boons you can ever get in your lifetime. So I request you all that you should ideally enroll for this, either an MBA or a diploma program, and get really motivated so that you can do justice to your intellect, your vision of life, and to contribute to this economy as a whole, and to safeguard your clients and plenty of people around from the so-called not so fit consultants or relationship managers. Thank you very, very much.